Hello, hello. Hey Rose, hey Lisette. Can you hear that music?
Yeah, good morning.
I need to got a second cell phone coming Friday, so that I can listen to have an actual monitor the way other people can hear it, so I can see and hear how it sounds from the other side. I can hear it in a recording, obviously, but I'm trying new things here. I got a couple soundboards and new mic setup and stuff, so I need to know live how things sound in my monitor, hopefully. Come up, come up, come up, come up.
Good morning, Derek. It sounds great.
Sweet. And the music won't be playing the whole time. And I've got a whole... I'm all into the new Macklemore album. Actually came out last year, and I didn't know it came out. It's very uplifting. I got like a whole bank of sound effects and whatnot. Gotta have the party horn. So got all kinds of new fun stuff to figure out. Really, I just need to hear how it sounds on the other side live. But yes, all right. So what time is it? 9:02. Give people a little bit of time to get in here. Come up. I'll make some of you moderator then too. PTR and then first five under me. Rose, Set, Denise, Debbie, Eric. Is that five? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Sweet. And if you guys and ladies, guys and gals can check the chat if you see any questions or anything. Not to give you a job or anything, but if you see something I don't, pull it out. Or if you see somebody requesting to come up, feel free to pull anybody up as long as they're not obviously a bot or something. Also, everybody, you can start putting your link in the chat, your Google review link in the chat if you want. And I also have an actual form that I'm going to put up at the top. 1 second. If you want to, you can also put it in there if you want to. I figured a Google form might be nice to have some, then you could kind of keep track of who you gave one to maybe, and put it in a nice spreadsheet. So if you click the link that I'm going to put, actually, I grabbed the wrong link, I think. The link I'm going to put in there will take you, if I can find it. Thought I made one. All right, so I'm just going to put the link to the form, but I do have a web page set up for it. Oh, it's on the replays page. Yes. All right, so I'm just going to put the replays page at the top. And on the replays page, you will see a link you can enter your name and Google business profile review link in there. And then there's also a button on the page that I'm going to pin that will take you to the spreadsheet to see everybody else's. And then you could obviously copy and paste or do what you want with it. And get my link in the chat as well. Typing in here, this is my real estate one, not my marketing one. I'll take them either place, but I like to rack up the real estate ones because that's The one I use as an example and the one I care about more, marketing business, isn't really a local type business, so don't care about that too much. I was actually on a call with somebody yesterday, a buddy of mine, and he's like, "You got to help me with my Google business profile." And I pretty much got off the call like, "You don't really need my help because, well, obviously he's already followed a lot of the stuff, and I've given him an audit before, so his profile isn't that bad, and he has tons of reviews." But he's like a national type business. He's not really a local type business. And definitely Google doesn't recognize him as a local type business, even if he wants local business. So I pretty much told him I didn't want to take any of his money because it wasn't going to get him much benefit. It's great for vetting purposes, but he's already getting a butt ton of reviews, so he's kind of doing that already. And there were a couple things that I could nitpick, but um, I had to turn him away. And we are at 5 after, so I will go ahead and get started. I got my link up there. Anybody that comes up or wants to come up, please come up. Going. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
Yes, you're good, Eric.
Sweet. Thanks. Until I have my live, I mentioned earlier I got a new cell phone, a second cell phone coming, so that I got to hear myself live how it sounds coming back, or else it drives me nuts. Um, to be able to not hear it till the recording or whatever, and I got a new two soundboards plugged together, plus a phone. So now it's getting complicated because my goal, hopefully next week, will be also Twitter Spaces. I want to start adding other places in too, so now I have to kind of have these boards. But with that comes complications and figuring out how it all sounds and everything. So anyway, let's get to it. You're in the Google for Real Estate House. Click above to join the house if you haven't already. We're here every Wednesday, 9 to 10-ish, and probably pretty hard cutoff-ish there because I got a meeting after this. I'm Derek Bixler, born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, singled out of 3 commercial and residential real estate of 17 years. So if you do have a real estate referral for Central Pennsylvania, hit me up. And if I can't do it or don't want to do it or whatever, I know all the best people around here. Outdoor adventure sportsman and Google marketing geek. Obviously, that's why we're here. In this room, we talk about dominating Google local search, getting business from our Google business profiles, and all the other Google tools, both marketing and non marketing, productivity forms, databases, notes. Maps, all that kind of stuff. Replays are on and recordings are available on Clubhouse for 7 days. So today I will delete last week's room, and today's room will be available for 7 days. If you click that link I put above, that will take you to the replays page on my website, which also houses a spreadsheet where you can put your review request link. So I encourage you to put your review request link and give and get and give reviews to people in the chat. And you can also, if you want to take it a step further, you could put your request link in that form as well, and then it kind of gives us all a nice place where we can access the links and see everybody's name, and kind of mark off who we've done or not done, because it does get kind of, I've got a bunch that I need to reciprocate, and I'm forgetting, like, did I give that first and then they gave me one, or do I still need to give them one? Did I try and it didn't go through and they're still asking me for it or whatever? So sometimes, for me anyway, I need a little bit of a way to keep track. So the spreadsheet might help a little bit. But that's where you can access the replays too. At some point, the replays will be gated and in my community or somewhere. They are also in my course and will remain in my course, which anybody that does the course has lifetime access to all that stuff right now anyway. Lifetime access. So all the replays, that's the replay stuff. If you need me, best thing is to click same thing on my website. There's a discovery call link. Hit me up there. That's usually the easiest, or just text me or something. And please come up on stage. I want to hear from everybody else. I want chime-ins. I want questions. Um, I'm not the knower of all things. So if you know something, or you have an experience with something, or you know better than me, or you're an expert in a field or whatever, please chime in and share experiences and everything else. I don't want to be the only one yapping the whole time, although I can do that very easily. Um, and if you're in a different profession, obviously all this stuff kind of is geared towards real estate agents, but it will apply. You can translate it to most any business. And I do work with other businesses. So if you are in other business and you need help, feel free to hit me up. But most of the stuff you hear here can be applied to pretty much any business. So today we are going to little bit of news, not really much news, but a couple like little discoveries or things to talk about. Then we will get into the live audit. If you remember last week, we went into Joseph Speakman's profile, and I'll put his link in the chat in case anybody wants to look at what we're looking at. Joe. And the best way, like I always say, the best place to look at a Google Business Profile is on the actual Google Maps on your cell phone, because it utilizes all the bells and whistles and shows all the possible features that you can use on a Google Business Profile. So it's a good place to look at your own or audit other people's, or if you're just looking for a business, it's the best place, I think. Any local type business, I just go right to Google Maps. I don't even go to Google. I don't go to anywhere else. I just go right to Google Maps and search for the restaurant or the plumber or whatever. But Joseph Speakman, Realtor. Link is in the chat. That's what we'll be doing. Audit part 2. We'll do review giving the whole time. If you're just sitting here listening and have nothing else to do, feel free to click somebody else's link, give them a review. I always encourage to message that person then and send a screenshot. I just say, hey, just gave you a review. Here's a screenshot in case it doesn't show up. Hope you have an awesome day. So now you have proof to them that you gave it, so you get your little brownie points for giving it, and hopefully they reciprocate and you get a review back. And I encourage, obviously, if you get a review, it's nice to reciprocate. But also, if they have the screenshot now, they actually, even if it doesn't show up on their Google, they can actually still utilize that review. You've given them that quote, that you've given permission for them to use, that you have said. So they could take that actual image and share it, or they could take that image text and put it into a Canva thing, and you could do the same thing with the ones you get too. You can still utilize that review. If you wanted to go through the Google Help channels, like we've discussed, there is a help ticket specifically for like reviews that don't show up. So they are a little bit better about it now. I still say it's not worth the time. It's easier to send your link to more people. But if you wanted to request the review, a lot of times it's good to have that screenshot so the person still has that screenshot. So if you give a review, I just take a screenshot, send it to the person, say that real quick. Hey, I gave you a review. Hope it shows up. See you later. And if you want to go further and say, here's my link, feel free to reciprocate. You could do that as well. So review giving always encouraged in here, and some won't show up. Move on with your life is the way it is. And you can put a help ticket. You know my feeling on that. I get hit with it too. I had 70 reviews last week after getting a couple, and then one disappeared this week. So I don't know why it disappeared, and really I don't care. I'm just gonna try to get more. So review giving is encouraged. Next week, we will have a room on Google Maps and custom maps. And Megan Luker, I'm not looking at the screen, so I don't know if she's in here. But I'll have Megan Luker as a special guest because she does a lot of stuff with Google Maps and custom maps and things. So we'll be talking about Google Maps and My Maps. And I'm trying to figure out by then how to create actual map overlays like the 5Ks do, or like ski mountains do, or there's a way to create actual overlays that once the person saves it, it remains like on their Google Maps visible all the time until they go within their like layers and turn it off or whatever. I still have Santa's route from 2023. He rides on a fire truck through Carlisle. I still have that route saved like and I can't even figure out how to get rid of it on my phone. So I want to figure out how to make those kind of maps that are more like stick to their thing and appear. And it's been tough to figure out how to do it. And I've gone down this rabbit hole before, and I think I gave up. But anyway, next week we will have a room on maps and possibly that map thing as well, if I can figure out maybe how to do it, or at least what it's called, or where to go to get it done or whatever. So that's next week. And I was going to mention that I was going to be on Michelle Soboka's podcast later today at 3:00, but got a message that she is feeling under the weather. If you're in here, Michelle, I hope you feel better. And we will be rescheduling that. And I was going to ask her if that was live. I don't know if it was live or not. So I definitely wanted to bring it up if it was live so people could join in. But more to come on that. So we'll jump into it. Share your Google review on the link in the chat. Said that news. branded search results for local services ads. So if you have local services ads, you will see in your dashboard under the profile and budget tab, about halfway down on the right, usually, and this is on desktop. There will be a spot where you're saying that you will take messages, and it says like email and text. There's now a line item that kind of tells you that your ad can show up for branded searches as well. So if somebody types in like my name, Derek Bixler Realtor, or John Smith Realtor, or Jane Smith Realtor, your local services ad might show up for that branded search as well. And it also says there that you will not be charged for repeat leads. So what that means to me basically is, if it's the same phone number, I don't know how else they would know if it's a repeat lead. So if that person has called and the number is in your local services system already, then if they clicked call on the local services ad result, then you wouldn't be charged for it. Otherwise, you'll probably get charged for it. So I don't know. I'm mixed on whether to turn it on or off. I'm of the mind right now, leave everything on, especially the way the market is, and we're all trying to get as much as possible. Um, so leave it on. I mean, obviously, if somebody typed in your name purposely, they're looking to find you. So do you need it there? Like, I don't, any other Google ads, I don't run branded, keyworded ads for myself because nobody else is doing competitor ads against me. For instance, if you, any kind of software, if you type in MailChimp into Google, now I said the word, I'm going to get ads for that from now to the end of time now. If I type MailChimp into Google, you're going to see a bunch of ads for competitors, other people. They actually type into Google, like, I want to run ads to all these keywords, and I want to run ads to anybody that types in MailChimp or any of their competitors. So people target when people are looking for another business. But with a realtor or a name like Derek Bixler or something, nobody's doing that. Nobody's running branded ads against me. So I don't really need to run my own branded paid ads to overcome that, if that makes sense. And neither would MailChimp if nobody was running ads against them. So if nobody was running ads against the keyword MailChimp, the competitors, then MailChimp would probably not have to run ads for the keyword MailChimp. They could just, people type in MailChimp, find them and go to them. But since everybody else is running ads, they got to run ads for MailChimp as well. So um, mixed for now. I'm leaving mine on, and most accounts I'm just leaving it on until if people start getting calls from people they know and then getting charged for the lead. Obviously, then I would want to turn it off if it becomes a problem. So my approach to most stuff is leave it on. We want to market as much as possible everywhere. But if it becomes a problem, then turn it off. And my same feeling goes for like turning on foreclosures in the local services ads dashboard, or the other switch. Other could be investments or something that's just not listed there. A lot of people want to turn that stuff off, or foreclosures. I don't want to deal with that. And I don't necessarily either if it's a pain, but if it's somebody that wants to buy a foreclosure, whatever, they'll probably end up buying whatever makes sense. It doesn't have to be a foreclosure, and they'll learn that foreclosures get listed like every other property. It's not like a door in to get it for cheaper, and here in PA you pay extra money as settlement. You might get a deal, but on the buyer agent side, it's not really any harder really than any other deal. And if it's a listing, then maybe you can save it and not be a foreclosure and actually just list it, or that's a listing call, that's a valid listing call. So um, especially right now, I'm leaving everything on and as broad as possible. Same goes with this new branded search results thing in local services ads. So you can check that out. I would leave it on, like I said, but you could turn it off if you want to, or if it becomes a problem. Uh, Other local services, I didn't put this, I should categorize my news into local services and Google Business Profile, but local services ads, you might have got an email, I think it was like a week or two ago actually, where they're saying, acting like it was a new thing to add photos to your local services ads. But it was not a new thing. It's the same thing that has already always existed there. So I've got a lot of people like forwarding me that email, and should I be doing something with this? No, you shouldn't. Well, your photos section should be fully filled out and robust. And I like to keep adding photos to it. You don't necessarily have to, but it should at least be filled out and robust. So if it's not, you should do that. But if you know you already do that, that email means nothing to you. It's nothing new. It's just they're telling you about the photos section that a lot of people overlook. And I wish they would stop telling people, because that is our way of looking better than the other people that don't know about it or don't pay attention to it, or have Ylopo or HomeSnap or whatever brand set it up for them that doesn't set up that kind of thing or make them look extra pretty like somebody like I would. So that's local services ads news. There's a new Google Business Profile. There's a new photos management display. I shared a picture of it, a screenshot of it yesterday or the other day. A little bit nicer. So when you click the photos section, the photos button in your Google Business Profile dashboard, it will take you to a little bit of a new setup for your photos. A couple ways it makes it slightly easier. Just the display is kind of nicer. It puts them in a grid. Before it was kind of like a single line, or it just wasn't nice. So it puts it in a nice grid where you can see more of them at one time. It puts a little trash can or delete button right on each photo, so it makes it a little bit easier to delete them. You still can't bulk delete, but which would be great for some accounts. Some accounts I get into, there's a lot that need to be deleted, which we end up just leaving because it's really hard. And if we just start doing the right things now, it won't be that big a deal. But it does make it a little bit easier to delete photos if you need to. And it also, up at the top, kind of left corner, it very clearly just states change cover photo and change logo. So it kind of calls out those two things that you need to be having filled in. I was just talking to somebody yesterday actually, and they said, "Oh, mine says," or was that on Clubhouse? Might have been on Clubhouse, but they looked at their cover photo, and I guess it said rejected. So you can also pull that up and see if any of your photos, including your cover image or anything else, has been rejected. And I would delete anything that was rejected. But so a little bit of a new photos management display thing in the Google Maps dashboard. Uh, Ooh, here's something I heard somebody say yesterday in a webinar, whatever it was, podcast maybe. So your profile, your social profiles on your Google Business Profile, which most of us know now, it was new as of maybe a year ago. Now you can actually copy and paste your links for your social profiles. There are 7 of them. So not everyone, but all the majors: LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter. I might be missing one, but anyway, there's 7 of them. So I'm always of the mind, let's fill as many in as possible. And if I have it, and make sure you look pretty there, obviously, and this would be an opportunity to make sure they all look pretty, but I want to fill everything in as completely as possible, and be looking awesome and get all the brownie points and look cool to customers. But I just heard somebody say that only 5 of them will show, and you have no, like Google does, you have no choice. You can't order them or tell them which order to display them or which ones to display. So they will only display 5, is what this person said. So I went into mine and 1 or 2 others that I manage and immediately removed 2 of them. A lot of people don't have all 7 filled in the first place. Like, most people don't have Pinterest, or they never pay attention to it. I don't really pay attention to it either, but I do exist there. I do look the same. I do identify as a real. It is consistent. So I do add it just because I need to be anal about it. But so I deleted Pinterest and Twitter, I guess, because TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn are the other ones, which are definitely more important than all those other ones. So only 5 will show up. So I would encourage you, if you do have all 7 filled in, and like probably the same as me, your Twitter and your Pinterest is either non-existent or is crappy or whatever, you can maybe delete those 2. And you don't have to fill out all 5. It doesn't. There's no evidence that I've heard that filling out as many as you can helps you in ranking. But again, every little setting does give you kind of like a little 1% completeness or whatever. So just for completeness, and for conversion for people coming along as well, obviously. Be open Easter. Easter's on Sunday. Somebody was just talking about Easter in the last room. And Easter seems to be the holiday where real estate agents get business the most over any other holiday. Christmas, kind of dead. Everybody leaves everybody alone. Everybody kind of respects that day. But Easter is not as much. The people that celebrate Easter still do open houses, are still out and about a lot. People that don't celebrate Easter don't quite respect it as much. And it's nice out and they're looking at houses. And sometimes people have family in and they want to go look at houses with their family. And other agents are not answering their phone, which is the most important part. On Google, we want to be open when others are closed because there is the openness ranking factor. And we just want to be answering our phone and open when others are closed because we will get those calls. So I would, everybody, click on your special hours, be open on Easter. I would be open every holiday. Everybody knows my stance on that by now until it becomes a problem. If you get 50 listing calls on Thanksgiving, then maybe, well, I'm probably going to celebrate Thanksgiving the day after the next year and take my money on Thanksgiving. But if it becomes a problem, again, then turn it off. But let's leave our reach and openness as much as possible. And if you want to ignore the call like the other agents that day, you can. But I would definitely be open on Easter. And I just realized I need to go buy some eggs and candy. I always leave things to the last minute. I always do a good job at it, but I always still leave it to the last minute, that kind of thing, holiday stuff. But anyway, so be open on Easter. I would anyway. And then the only other news, which isn't really Google news, but I guess is kind of Google news. A lot of people ask about how do I know what the number is, or how do I know that the call is coming from Google? You don't unless you use a special number that you know if that bat phone rings, then that's a money call or that's a call from whatever that phone number is used for. So, um, and this is more sparked from my Clubhouse rooms. I need to be able to speak into Clubhouse for this room and then listen to the actual room as a person so I can hear my voice and everything as a person would hear it live. And you have to have a second cell phone number to be able to get a text for that. So I already have a couple extra cell phones. So I just Googled cheapest way to get a cell phone number or whatever. So basically, what I found the cheapest way is Tello. And there might be other similar ones, but if anybody needs it, and I'm probably going to use this phone also for my maybe not my Google business profile, because I kind of want people that find me there to have my actual, like my regular number, even though the other number will be mine. I kind of want them to have my main number, but for local services ads, for sure. I think I'm going to make that, especially since I'm paying for those and I want to know if that one rings that I'm definitely answering that one. And I'm actually putting it on a tiny flip phone that so I don't have to carry around an extra giant phone. And but Tello, Tello, I think it was what it was, is $5 a month. This is the cheapest I could find. A Google Voice number is $10 a month, which isn't crazy either. I'm kind of penny pinching here, but $5 a month, and you can set it up pretty much on any phone almost as long as it's modern. And you get 100 minutes of talk time, so I can take a couple lead calls and talk to them, and probably wouldn't go over that. I'm not going to talk to people for a long time or make any other calls on it. And you can make free Wi-Fi calling and free texting on it as well, I believe. So, and obviously any internet stuff on Wi-Fi you could do. That plan comes with zero data. So I just went with the cheapest possible thing I could possibly do just to get another cell phone number. And it could also double for like Piper takes it to a sleepover for an emergency phone or something, that kind of thing too. So if you're looking for a cheap other number, second number or something, Tello is what I just got. It's supposed to arrive Friday, so I'll let people know if or how it works once I get it. So $5 a month for that. We're already halfway through, and I'm just doing the news. All right. Any burning questions? We'll get into audit part 2 here in a second. Burning questions or comments on any of that stuff I just blabbed about.
Hey, Derek. It's Eric in South Florida. I do actually have a question. The other day in the other room, you were mentioning something about your reviews having keywords above it and what you should do with those keywords. Can you please repeat what to do with those keywords, or if you should do anything with those keywords, or if they're just made for if you're sending out a review for them to include those keywords in them?
So, keyword stuffing the actual review or getting people to write like listing agent or listing agent in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and that type of stuff does not help you rank for that term. Per the people that I follow, there are people out there and like major people. I get videos sent to me all the time that say that kind of thing sometimes, and in other places where you can put text. But the people I follow, that does not do it. Doesn't mean you don't want to keyword stuff, so to speak, but you don't have to worry about it as far as like ranking better for those terms. However, even though people say it doesn't, we're all still superstitious. So that's one reason you still want to do it, because we're still superstitious about it. The second reason you still want to have certain keywords in your reviews and your replies to your reviews is just to resonate with people. If you want to get more downsizing listing clients, you want all your reviews, or some of your reviews at least, to be talking about downsizing and listing and selling a house. So resonating and converting people, it matters as well. And then also what you're referring to mostly, I think, is it will. So when somebody clicks on your business profile and they're scanning your business profile, when they come to your reviews section, Google will showcase a couple, 2 to 3, whatever reviews, maybe more, maybe less. And then you can click, the person can click to see all the reviews, or see the latest or the oldest or the worst one or whatever. There's some buttons to see that kind of thing. The order in which reviews are showcased, you cannot dictate. Google chooses that. If you wanted to try to dictate it, and it's supposed to work pretty well, one thing is photos. Google likes reviews with photos, so adding photos to reviews can help it be one that is showcased. And if you can get, the number I've heard is 3, if you can get 3 people to like, or sometimes the button says helpful, to like a review, 3 people, then Google will choose that to be one of the showcased reviews. So in that section where Google is showcasing your reviews, above the reviews, right above them, with all those other like oldest, newest, worst buttons, there are also buttons that say whatever keywords were mentioned lots of times in your reviews. So maybe, I think one of mine is sell and professional, uh, creative, diligent, whatever the words are. Google will call out words, and there'll be a little number beside it that says sell 13, property 7. So first of all, you want to look at those buttons and see what is showing there. Hopefully, some things that have to do with real estate or something. But if you cared about what those buttons were, then you would want to keyword stuff your reviews so that your buttons up there would be saying sell, listing, downsizing, veteran, whatever you would want it to say. Obviously, a way to game that, I guess, and I've never really thought about gaming that part, but pretty easy. You go there, you see which ones, and it tells you the number of times. So if the top one has 12 mentions, and you want to make sure that military or veterans or something is mentioned as one of your buttons, you could intentionally get at least 13 people, 12 people, or whatever number you have to get to make it be one of those buttons up there, or whatever, or make Google showcase that keyword. So keywords do matter in your reviews, I believe, but not quite the way that some people would say to directly help you rank for those keywords, if that makes sense.
Yes, I just didn't know if, like, for instance, like you mentioned, is I have one that says home for 13 people. Now, do you suggest that you put maybe a keyword in a different, like, social media that will populate your business profile? Does it work that way, or does it not work that way?
The words are dictated by mentions in your reviews. So if home 13 or whatever it was, if that's what you have, that means 13 people mentioned the word home in their review.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And home, that's probably not a bad one. Obviously, it relates at least to what you do, and it's not a completely unrelated thing. If all your keywords were things like funny, partier, I don't know what like good but bad words would be, but if they were all completely unrelated, then you would maybe want to pay attention to it a little bit. Or if you just wanted to be like, you're on that next level where now I'm nitpicking and trying to go into it even deeper, then you could start worrying more about the wording and the keywording in the reviews themselves. And that would be in the review itself, not your response. Your response, you can't really dictate much of anything with your response. That would be stupid for Google to let you game the system with text that you're able to enter, other than the name and the title. That they really don't do that. Any other questions or anything, or follow up to that? Going once, going twice. All right.
Hi, Derek.
Ask question.
This
Yeah, go
this
for it.
Amit from Toronto. I recently changed my location on the Google Map, but when I go to do the verification, it doesn't allow me to do that.
Does it say no verification methods available?
There is a problem when I'm doing it through my phone, and it says that there is a problem.
So typically you'll need to, you would start on your desktop and you would be at your computer anyway, because you're going to have to walk in and rock like right to your computer if you're doing it properly anyway. So you pull it up on your computer. Hopefully you have the button when you pull your dashboard up that says get verified. You click that. Usually the only option is the video. Assuming it is the video, you click do the video, and then it will put a QR code up on the screen, which you then scan with your phone, and then you go do the video. Is that happening or something different?
Oh, I haven't tried through my computer, but when I'm trying, let me just try it right now. So when I go here, it's telling me that it's pending the new address, and it's asked me your profile. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, I'll have to find it again now. So, but it wouldn't allow me. I tried to get the verification done, but it wouldn't allow me to do it. Well,
Oh,
we'll find
yeah,
out.
I'd have
I'll
to
think.
see your screen or something. If it's if it's if your profile is active and you're able to do stuff and it's still verified, then it's not asking you to re-verify, which is not good because you want it to re-verify and be sitting where you're trying to move it to. But
So
I probably have to see your screen to diagnose it, maybe.
yeah, so right under my name and the address, it says verification required, and I go down. It says get verified.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Trouble connecting. So that's what it is.
you're doing it from your phone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean it should still work, but maybe try what I said from the computer with the QR code. Plus, you should still, I mean, maybe you are right now, but yeah, you should be hopefully starting the process, have all your stuff in order perfectly to do the video, and that would be starting at your computer, making sure all your stuff is at your desk waiting for you. So the second you walk in the door from doing the street sign and showing the outside and whatnot, you're walking straight to your computer with your desk with all your documents and your things on the screen that you're showing and everything. And it probably maybe works a little bit better. Doesn't mean you won't have problems with the QR code either. And turn your Wi-Fi off so that it doesn't switch over when you walk from outside inside. That could cause a glitch, and maybe it is working and recording, and then it does that, and then it won't upload properly. And maybe you do it all perfect and still doesn't upload. But yeah, if you continue to have problems, hit me up, but we could do a screen share or something. That would probably. But
Yeah,
it
we'll
sounds
keep
like
you
they're
posted.
prompting you with the right thing.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted. I will do it. I'm almost in the office right now. So when I go home, I will do it. If there's any problem, I will hit you up.
Cool. And if you mess up
Thank you,
too
Derek.
much, yep, yep. Sometimes you will get to a point where it will say no verification methods available. If you ever get to that point, you just have to click through, and it's kind of complicated, and sometimes you can't find it, but click through to a form to then give them all the upload all the documentation they asked for in the video, and you have to submit to a live video a lot of the times too. Sometimes they won't make you do that, but a lot of times they will. So if that happens, that's what you got to do. Any other questions or anything? Are you ready to tear apart Joe Speakman's profile?
I have a question, Derek.
Go for it.
I scheduled a discovery call with you, but I thought I'll ask. I take a 3 months of real estate over the summer, and my page, and I find out somebody copied my page word by word when I come back, and it kind of like pissed me off. But I'm trying to get my page up because I used to get at least like 5 calls a week, like organic. call from my Google profile. And now my page is like so down. I haven't like really get any calls. So, but I have been very diligent in the past 2 weeks, so I can see some progress. My question is, when I set up my page, I have a different Google Gmail address, and then I went and I did the workspace too, and then I got a domain name, and I ended up creating a new Gmail address. So now when I trying to connect it with the domain that I purchased specifically for that, and it says it's already been used. Is there a way I can connect that domain to my Google page? It shows that you can, but when I went on my domain page, it's like I feel like it's so complicated.
So you're talking about a website. Where's you talking about this KV Core
Not
website that you have
KV, not
attached
my
to your Google?
Core. You know, when you set up your profile, because my Google page is like I created so long ago, they did not give me the options when I created it to just do the to do the domain right there when I. So it was later on, I went and I to Google, I purchased a domain name, not my KV Core website. It's just a domain, just so that I can have a professional Google email, but I ended up with a different Gmail address.
Gotcha. So if I'm understanding correctly, you're really just talking about the email addresses that manage and or own the Google Business profile.
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. All you have to do is add it. Whichever one is the primary owner, just go in there and click add invite or whatever the button says and put in the email address and invite whoever you want to manage it, and then go to that email address and accept the invitation, and then you can be manager or owner. Those are the two options, owner or manager, of the profile. And I recommend it actually if anybody has an extra Gmail or email address. I like Gmail's better, but if you have an extra email address that you can make a secondary owner or at least a secondary manager, that's always a good redundancy to have in case something gets hacked or something gets messed up and you need to get in there and change something quick before something happens or whatever.
Hmm.
Same goes for ad accounts and all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, should be that simple. I think just add it, and then you should be able to do all the same stuff and manage it with the other email address.
Okay.
Hi,
Okay.
Derek.
Okay.
Derek, can you hear me?
Yep.
So sorry for the noise. I'm out in Brooklyn. So I have a quick question. I'm going through your video courses, right? And I realized that my broker has control over my Google page. So I went ahead and created another Google page, which I heard in one of the other clubhouse rooms that it's not a good idea to do that. So um, and what I was trying to do, and tell me if I'm wrong, if I was to ever leave that broker, if I had all my reviews on that on his page, if I was to ever leave that broker, will I lose those reviews? That's one question. Should I ask him to maybe let me control it? And if he says no, what would I do in that case? I wouldn't. Would I be able to still do my own Google page? Um, to get my own reviews on it, and it will follow me through wherever I go.
So you can't have a duplicate page. You might get away with it for a little while, but eventually you would get uh, probably both unverified or suspended or whatever, and you would have to merge them or get rid of one and re-verify, blah blah blah. So in general, you do not want to do a duplicate. So I would have taken the perfect world would be take control of it. I don't know why he wouldn't give it to you unless it's the brokerage's Google Business Profile and you were just getting reviews on the brokerage's Google Business Profile. Well, then that's just lost reviews. You got to move
Yes,
on. But
that's exactly what it is. Yes.
yeah, that's just that's something that brokers. Yeah, I don't know. If you're a broker, that's great, obviously, if you're an agent-centric brokers, you're probably teaching your agents to create their own and get your own reviews, the whatever. But yeah, not that that's bad. I mean, that's also a good strategy. If people aren't getting reviews at their own place, why not get them on the brokers? And then maybe the broker gets calls that they can then hand out, or leads that they can hand out to agents. That could actually be a good strategy too if everybody pulled their resources and actually worked together, and then had a local services ads account or something that was the brokerage, and everybody worked together to make that the bomb, and then they just kind of share in the leads or have a round robin or something. But yeah, yeah, you're just out of luck there. You could copy the reviews and send them to people with your new review link and say, hey, would you mind putting that over here? Obviously, it's going to be verbatim text that's already on Google on a real estate profile, so I would guess it would probably get blocked. But you could at least ask with those people, or start with asking those people or the other people close to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, at least that's an easier answer than a duplicate page. It sucks
Right.
that you lost those reviews, but it is a little bit easier as far as things that you need to do. It's not something you got to get back control. And now that you've created the other one, you got to close one or duplicate or merge or all that gobbledygook.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Issues? 5.
I don't know if it's just me, Derek, but your audio is kind of low.
Is it? It can be
No,
louder.
I think it's just Armando's.
It's just me. Okay, because I can hear you fine, whoever spoke, but you're kind of
Derek,
low.
how can I get like I'm having troubles to get the page verified? Any tip like I don't know why.
To get verified,
Yes.
you typically will have to do the video, which
Mm-hmm.
is the cumbersome part, obviously. Yeah, I have special instructions if you ever need actual help. The first step is to go over your profile, make sure everything's compliant and within policy and everything. And assuming it is, then you go ahead with the verification. If it's a brand new account, it's probably all within policy. It's just because you have to verify to create an account. But you click on get verified. It will eventually, you should be doing it on your desktop at your office or house, whatever address you're using.
Oh,
You
maybe
have to do
that's
the,
why I was only in my phone. I'll try in my desktop. Thank you.
yeah, because you should be having things set up, like I said earlier, on your at your desk ready to go for the video. So yeah, I would start it on the desktop. It'll prompt you with the QR code that you scan with your phone, and then you go out and do your video. And don't be surprised if you have to do it multiple times. Not because they reject it, maybe because they reject it, but not necessarily because they reject it, but possibly because there's just an error or it didn't upload properly or whatever. All right. So, audit
Hey,
part
Derek, can
2.
I ask you a question real quick? It's Shari in
Sure.
St. Louis. Just
What's
real
up?
quick, I got an email yesterday from the LSA saying to start adding like you need to add photos to that too. Am I adding the same type of photos that I add to my profile? Like, can it have the Canva stuff on it, or do I have to do
Yeah, that's
blank?
nothing new. It's the same thing that we've been
Okay,
doing. Yep.
thanks.
Yep. All right. So Joseph Speakman, if you haven't pulled up earlier, we went over his name, his reviews, and kind of all his top stuff and his photos. So now, and if you want to hear what we talked about as far as all that stuff goes, you can go back and listen to the previous part 1. Now we are past his photos, and I am down to his line of buttons where it says overview, and I'm looking at his profile on my phone on Google Maps, which again is the best place to look at a profile or audit a profile. So I'm on his scroll of things under his photos: overview, services, reviews, photos, updates, about. I do not see, and it doesn't mean he doesn't have any because sometimes it doesn't show it, but I do not see a button that says deals or offers. So a lot of times if you have any deals or offers on your profile, that button will be there. Sometimes it will also when you're scanning a profile, it will be kind of one of the line items that are in there. If someone does a branded search for you, they will insert that sometimes your offers into the web results as well. So definitely good to have. Also, they call it out like way up at the top, right under the stars and the main category sometimes too. It'll say offers or deals colon, and then it'll say like free home valuation or whatever your offer or deal is. And that free home valuation, free buyer consultation would be the two that I would add to a real estate one. But I don't see that button on his, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have it. It just might not be showing the button. And I've been on my profile and other profiles that don't show the buttons. So it doesn't mean he doesn't have them, but I don't see those. And I would guess most people don't really even know about them. So I'd guess he probably doesn't have offers. And most people listening, unless you've worked with me, probably don't have any offers. So go ahead and add an offer. That would be an update. So it's actually an update, add update, and then do the offer update. It'll ask for a start and end date. Can't be longer than 365 days. I make all my offers end in December 31st, the end of whatever calendar year I'm in, so that I just know that all the offers of any profile that I put offers on, they all end on December 31st. And the new year, we need to put some new offers on there. So he may or may not have offers, but I would definitely have some in there. If I click on his about, that will show me his description. Number 1, skillful, savvy, and unfailingly clever. Speakman is a breath of fresh air in the central Ohio, blah, blah, blah. Not too bad. It's not a bad bio. It does not talk about his unique selling proposition, or if he has one. Some people don't have one, but if he was a veteran that loves serving veterans, I would be saying that in the first sentence. If I was a senior specialist that speaks 5 languages, I would be saying that in the first sentence or two before people have to click more. It gives me about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, 2 or 3 sentences worth before I have to click more. So definitely your description and his description, I mean, you don't have to kill yourself with your description, because it, again, keyword stuffing and writing it perfectly is not a huge deal and doesn't really help you rank. It's more of a conversion thing. But I would probably make the first sentence or two something about the unique selling proposition, or what makes you different, or why they should choose you right now, or that kind of thing. Definitely don't make it like Carlisle, Pennsylvania realtor with 17 years experience helping home buyers and sellers. They already know that. That's lazy. That's like writing a house description. This house in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, this 2-bed, 3-bath house in Carlisle, Pennsylvania has 1,200 square feet, a living room, bath. They already know. They just typed that in and searched for that. You need to utilize that text to sell the thing somehow. So your description, his isn't too bad, but I would probably rewrite it a little bit maybe. But again, don't kill yourself coming up with like the perfect description. Just maybe look at it a little bit, rewrite it a little bit,
So,
and then move
so
on.
I can't put strong Houston cyclist semi-pro that wins every race on my bio. Is that not attractive to real
Hey, if
estate?
you specialize in that,
Okay, I'm just kidding.
you probably have a lot of people vetting you from biking stuff. So it might actually work for you, because you are in so many races and clubs and group rides and whatnot. People refer you or talk about you, then they go Google you. And then if they read your description, it might even solidify even further that they should work with you. Oh, he's one of my people. Like, I've got a sign up at the Climbnasium at the climbing gym that's a special picture that I took like in there that says like "your climbing realtor" or whatever. Um, but yes, I know you were joking. So that's the description. Probably not bad, but he could change it up a little bit. His address is in Columbus, Ohio, so I would be calling out Columbus, Ohio in his name. And he's showing his address, so I'm assuming that's his office, because if it was his house, he would probably be hiding his address. And because he's showing the address, he has a directions button and a start button, which you would not have if you did not have a physical location. Continuing down the about page, services, which I'll go into in a second. He does have a Calendly link. Let's see what it takes us to. Page not found. Dude, can't have a dead 404 link. So that's Oh, I had a sound effect for this too. Wah wah. Is that it? I don't know if anybody can hear that. Uh, doesn't have the point, or he does have a Calendly link. So step one achieved, but he might have to click the button to sync his calendar again or something to that effect. Contact us now, chat. We talked about that earlier. We stole his idea of putting the phone number in the welcome message. He does not have the chat buttons, but he does have that cool thing that we stole. If you want to hear about that more, listen to last week. His phone number, I'm assuming that's his cell phone. Make sure your phone number is something that you answer religiously. His website is the least known, most impactful thing for a person's Google business profile. So
I have a quick
basically,
question
if
about
you,
the chat, real quick. Sorry.
yeah, go.
Um, I saw on mine and some others, it says usually replies in, one will say 1 minute or 5 minutes. Some will say 24 hours. Mine, unfortunately, says 24 hours, which I don't think that's great. So now I've been really eyeing my messaging, and when I need more information, I'll just like literally right away reply within 5 minutes. Like, thanks for reaching out. Like, what's a good, I'll ask for the information. What's a good email or contact information? So I guess my question is like, the more I answer within less time, 5 minutes, hopefully within a minute, do you think that will decrease that 24-hour, usually replies in within 24 hours, or no? Or it doesn't
Yeah,
matter?
I don't, I mean, I'm not privy to the algorithm or how they average it together or how many quick answers you have to get before they change that. I would guess that there have to be a few messages before they're going to trim that down. Or, I mean, my guess would be that it just averages. You've got 5 messages and it took you an average of this long to get back to all those. So if you had one 24-hour and one 1 minute, then I would guess that your thing would then say usually responds within 12 hours or whatever. But I don't know that that's the case. I don't know how the algorithm works. But yes, I'm sure if you start getting them and responding to them quicker, it will change, obviously. And that's a good call out. You said Google does, it watches that and it wants to know that you get back to people, and it shows to customers under the contact us now. It says this on Joe's, it says usually responds in a few minutes, which is obviously good, and that's what Armando's talking about and wanting to get to. One question would be for you and for anybody else, make sure your text notifications are on. So if you go to the main settings, the three dots, uh, and then go into business profile settings, you, or no, it would be a whole different tab. It would be a notifications tab, and then in there you can make sure all your notifications are on, and you should be able to make sure your cell phone number at the top is correct. So that usually, I'm sure he has a, if he's answering in a few minutes, he's got to be getting a text or he watches his email real heavily or something. Any questions on the chat or any follow-ups on that? Sweet. All right. I'll blab about the website, and that'll be it for part 2. Well, let me come
Hey,
back to
Derek.
website. Go ahead.
One thing about the chat, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, you can only see that from the cell phone, not from the computer. Is that right or no?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep. Unless, yeah, 9 times out of 10. Everything could vary, and there are anomalies, obviously, per device, per browser, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, typically only on mobile would be the chat. Although on the management side, on the business side of it, you can, obviously, there is a messages tab that you can click on and then access your messages. And there's also an away message you could put on in there. I don't know why anybody would ever turn that on, because I want to get, even on vacation, I'm not, unless you're getting crazy calls where it's a pain in the butt, but I'm, who's using an away message. But there is an away message in there if you wanted to turn that on, and you can access all your past messages and respond to people in that dashboard as well. And then I'm going to skip over. I'm going to come back to website quick, and we'll talk about that for a couple minutes before we close out. We're about at the end. But I do, scrolling down further, I do see that he has all the attributes selected that he could pretty much. So attributes are those things like identifies as women owned or black owned or LGBTQ owned, or there's a gender neutral restroom or wheelchair accessible entrance, or I speak Spanish or French or just English and all those kinds of things. Those are called attributes. So in his about section, I'm all the way down. Um, and I can see that I can just see that he has pretty much everyone that he can select. He's got LGBTQ selected, online appointments, on-site services. He's got all his accessibility things checked, wheelchair. I always turn on, if you're showing a physical address, you will have the accessibility stuff. If you're not, you will not have the wheelchair and the restroom stuff. But if you do, I say yes to the wheelchair and the accessibility stuff and the gender neutral restroom, which it should say more like family friendly. It really means, is there a restroom where multiple sexes can go into or whatever? It's not really referring to LGBTQ stuff for that one. Then there is actually one asking if you're okay with that stuff. And then there's a planning one, appointment required. Make sure that is no. He has it on. Common mistake. And now ding off. I'm even going to take a screenshot of it and circle it. I don't know if Google does this by default or if people think they should be saying yes to appointment required, but you should be saying no. What would you think if you were a consumer and I'm looking at this profile and then I see appointment required? Oh, well, I need to see that house like right now, or I want to talk to them right now, or it just seems like maybe I need to book an appointment to be able to reach out to this person right now. So I always say no, just I want them to call me right now. So I would say no to the appointment required. So I'll take a little bit of a point off of his attributes for that, but for the most part, he's using them. And then website, which I'll close with. Website, like I said, is the most impactful, least known thing for the Google Business Profile. So if your website is local SEO, quote unquote, optimized, it will help your Google Business Profile ranking. It can help it a lot. That's how I moved up the couple extra spaces to get to the top. And you can see in your keyword section, like my keyword section now on my Google Business Profile is like 200 long. Before it was usually, most accounts you'll see 20 or 30 or so. If you have a really older account and you've been doing it a long time, maybe more, but usually it's definitely not in the hundreds. And the website got, I mean, I show up for all kinds of terms and key terms that I want to search or show up for, and that I dictated and purposely made myself self show up for. So your website is super important. It can help your ranking. If you ever see a profile that you like, that profile sucks, that person sucks, they don't get reviews, I have more of the reviews, blah blah blah, maybe their website is better. It could be something else too, or where you're searching from or whatever. But sometimes it is the website. Like my old firm, actually, their Google Business Profile was garbage, and they were a property management company, so they had only bad reviews, really, maybe one, but overall they were like a 2.1 or something, and they didn't care about fixing it or making it better. But they still ranked number one for commercial real estate and residential sometimes too for that area. But they were always ranked really good on the Google Business Profile because they spent a lot of money on their website and getting in the news and getting backlinks and all the SEO stuff. So their Google Business Profile still did really well. It didn't convert. Nobody probably called it because it looked like crap, but it did rank pretty well. So website, super important. Just a few things. Basically what you want to do, and you can do it on almost any website builder. You're out of the KV Core, the out of the box one from your broker, any kind of done for you ones from Ylopo or any of the other ones. Almost every website builder gives you the opportunity to enter the main site title, the main site tagline, possibly a main kind of meta description. It gives you an opportunity to upload a logo, a headshot, a main cover image that goes at the top of the website, possibly other images to be used on the website. It asks for an about section paragraph, possibly, maybe some other content that you can write and headings and things. So all those main things, and this doesn't require any kind of back-end coding or schema or like any kind of heady SEO. People hear SEO and think like that's something in the code backend that I don't know what to do. But really, you can start with just these main things that every website builder has. And I've got templates if if anybody's in the course or has done anything with me, you have the templates, or I'll send you the templates for basically this is what I named my logo. So basically, you would want to re-upload your logo. It could be the same exact logo, but you want to title it with keywords that you're trying to target in there. So his, like, I'm looking at his website. Top left is his Joseph Speakman real estate logo. If I were him, and maybe it's already named, I don't know, but I would re-upload that, or sometimes you can just change it right in the website builder. The actual title or name of the logo should be, at first you say exactly what it is, logo for Joseph Speakman Real Estate. And then I would tack onto it also the keywords I'm trying to hit: Columbus, Ohio, realtor, and real estate agent. And if there was some other kind of keywords you were trying to tack on there. But basically, you're trying to compound and reiterate Columbus, Ohio, realtor, real estate agent, all those keywords, and the name too, Joseph Speakman, in a lot of stuff. So the logo, you make that the alt text and the title of it. Um, Same with that background image at the top. You want it to be an original image that Google isn't going to find anywhere else. You go take it with your phone with all the data, where it was taken, when it was taken, the device, the resolution, all that juicy stuff. Then you name it, the name of the actual file, like I just talked about for the logo. Say exactly what it is. Like mine is photo, main website image of Carlisle Theater on Hanover Street in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and then tacked on the end of it again is Derek Bixler, Carlisle and Boiling Springs realtor and real estate agent. And I think that's it. But and keep in mind, people are not going to see this. This is like the name of the file. So this is on the back end where Google is scanning it, and people are not going to see this. And then putting those same keywords again in the title and the tagline, all the main things that Google scans first. It scans all those main things first and your homepage first. So start with that. All those main things, make sure your keywords and things are in those main places. And your main image, that main first image that Google scans, and your logo, all that stuff that represents your website is keyworded, and that's the place to start. And then also, just if you go through it and look at headings and paragraphs, like your about section, make sure your keyword stuff in that, so to speak. And don't be crazy. You don't want to be crazy about it, but you definitely want to put it in there in headings, like in places where it says, like if you have a home search part, does he? He does. It doesn't have a heading. I like how his reviews show up, but I don't think I saw his home search didn't have a heading. So I would, on top of the home search, I would have a heading that says very clearly, and think of Google as like a blind person looking at it. A blind person has a thing reading it to them, and your website should work like that. So a heading, you want to be very clear. Service areas. Don't say like neighborhoods I serve, or his even says featured areas, which Google probably knows, but being really literal also helps too. I would probably change featured areas to literally service areas. Um, Same thing with the home search. I would have a heading that says Columbus, Ohio home search rather than just home search. And if you could have the title and the pictures and all the other stuff being original images, blah, blah, blah. Usually that's a widget, but a lot of times you can change the main headings of things, sometimes the description of the home search, or any other widgets that you can turn on and off in the website. A lot of times you have an opportunity to change maybe the heading or the text in it. Um, I do see when it starts talking about his services, it says buyer services and seller services. It'd be better to be more literal with a main headline that says services, and Google, everything, everybody, every computer, everything knows what that means, services. And then underneath it would list all the services, and everything could clearly understand it and know what it's talking about. So that's a little bit of stuff you could do on your website that's not super hard to do. It's just keyword stuffing those main places. And then if you wanted to go more heady with it, with kind of like the back end code, so to speak, and everything, um, then you could figure it out yourself or hit somebody up. I actually don't. I do some of that kind of, but I would not say I'm an SEO quote unquote master when it comes to that website like back end stuff. I usually use a automatic generator thing for schema. Schema is what you would hear people talk about out there. But so your website, you want an actual website attached to your Google Business profile. Step one, he has that. It's not a link tree or a Facebook business page or a 10K card or anything. So step one, it's a real website. So gets a point for that. His website, not too bad looking, pretty user friendly and fast. So I would give a point for that. His keywording and everything, not the greatest. At the top, very top heading, I didn't talk about that, where it says like live somewhere you love, the #1 real estate resource for Central Ohio. I would probably be more literal there, or at least have the word Columbus in there somewhere. But nitpicky. But his website not bad, but I'm sure his keywording on the back end and the front end could be a little bit better, and then all that headier stuff could be done as well. So, what? And there any question about website stuff before I close it out, or questions about anything else? I got a few more minutes.
Hey Derek, on the website, do we have to have our own like standalone website, or can we link the website that we have through our brokerage as well?
Yeah, you could use like if you have a KV Core one, if you mean like your page on the broker's website, if you need a placeholder, that would work.
Okay.
If you're talking about like your website from KV Core or whatever they use, that will work too. That's an actual website. And another thing I didn't mention, which is a little bit of a ninja trick, not really, but if you go to Google Search Console, you can for free tell Google to basically you're telling Google make sure you scan my website. So Google typically will find a website and scan it and index it on its own, but you can manually make sure that Google is properly scanning your website and indexing your website for search um, in Google Search Console. So you would just search for Google Search Console. It'll ask you for your URL. There's like 2 options to set it up. It's all free. And then once you set it up, you know that you're being scanned, and it will also tell you if there's issues with your site, the mobility, there's issue with your mobility on your this page, or this page isn't indexing for this reason, or things like that. So that's another thing that you could do if you were doing that other stuff with your website. Just go to Google Search Console and drop it in there real quick.
Awesome. Thanks.
Anything else? Alrighty. Let me I'll close it out. And the closing's gonna be quicker because people drop off. But if you didn't join the house, do it now. See you here next Wednesday at 9. You know who I am by now. Replays of this room will be on till next week, and last week's will disappear, but the link above is the replays page on my website. So you can catch all the replays there until they become gated at some point. Maybe, maybe not, probably, but you can find them all there for right now. Thanks for joining me. Come back next week and we will do part 3. Actually, no, not next week. We're going to take a break from the audit. 2 weeks from now, we will have the audit. Next week, assuming all goes according to plan, we will have the Google Maps room with Megan Luker, special guest. And if anybody else here uses Google Maps in any way in your business, or for fun even, if you do local guiding or something, we'll be talking all things Google Maps and custom maps and all that kind of stuff next week. So a little bit of a departure and a special guest. So that could be fun. Will be fun. Not could be fun. Anybody have any last questions or burning issues or anything? All right. Thanks everybody for being here. And I am
Thank you,
going to
Derek.
turn my yeah, thanks. I'm gonna warn you. I'm gonna turn my music back on, and I'm gonna be moving the volume up and down, and I'm gonna be firing off a bunch of different sound effects because I wanna when I listen back to this, hear how everything sounds. So just brace yourselves if you're gonna hang out for this next couple minutes till I hit the end button. So I'm gonna mute myself. Oh, here I'll give you this too. This little fun thing. Where is it? See everybody.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Derek, I don't know if you already hit play on your music.
I did. Nothing coming through.
I hear it. I hear it when you're. I just heard it for a second. Now I don't.
It came through when you were talking, but other than that, it's silent.
I think the box like automatically does something with the music. It's annoying. That's the thing I gotta figure out. Did you hear those things? Because that's on the same volume as the mic. All right. We'll figure it out. Thanks for the feedback. All right, everybody. Have
You're
an
welcome. Have a great
awesome
day.
day. Yeah. Go get them. Still don't know how to end the room on my on my computer. Big red button.